The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackass. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We're three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
Jackass 3D, am I in your face, man?
Oh, can we start over? I want to do over.
Jay, I loved that. I was a big fan of whatever it was Chris was doing there. Chris in his birthday hat.
Well, you know why I'm wearing a birthday hat?
Why's that?
Because we're celebrating your birthday tomorrow, Mikey.
Oh, that's true. We are.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna, and we are going to sushi. So in honor of the show, I think you have to do some wasabi snooters.
Yeah,
dude.
Please.
That, you know what? For the TikTok, I might have to do it.
Yeah,
I might have to.
My nose is
Yeah,
burnt out by
you
now,
do it.
so I don't think I really stand a chance there.
I was gonna say all my surgery
Yeah.
for my deviated septum is gonna go down the tank.
Ooh, boy,
it's just
yeah.
gonna reset itself.
It's okay. You can just get another one. It's fine.
Of course, you could just get another one. Of
Yeah,
course,
right?
I've been
Totally.
sparring again in boxing, and I have so much anxiety the mornings before I do it because if my nose breaks again, it's like very bad news for me. But you can't tell the person you're going up against, "Don't punch me in the nose," because that's like what they're there to do. So hopefully, I don't have to miss another couple weeks after another deviated septum surgery. I'd prefer not to.
Chris, you got a fun fact for Jackass 3. When did this shit come out?
This shit came out on October 15th of the year 2010. And I didn't want to go with something so extravagant because I didn't want to overshadow from this amazing thing that we're doing here, because we're finally breaking down Jackass 3D. It's our last big movie production thing to do, so we kind of want to make sure we make the most of it. So by my backwards logic, I thought I'd kind of come with a pretty lame fact. If that makes any sense.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why you got a lame fact. All right, let's hear it.
Well, it's not lame for me. Like I like my rap and I like, gangster stuff and cool stuff like that. And on this day,
I can tell based on your hat that you're a big gangster fan.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Wow, got me there. That really just kind of rattled me. I'm not gonna lie. Remember that rapper?
I can tell by how easy it is to rattle you that you're a big gangster fan.
Yeah, because I just know that my life's gonna end because I'm about to pull out the strap on your ass, and I know I'm about to end my life right now through the internet.
And okay,
Your life
life
by going to jail for murdering you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. You don't understand the slang, the terminology.
I don't. Clearly don't.
So, remember that guy T.I., the rapper?
Of course, he owns a hotel in Las Vegas.
Does he really?
No, it's Treasure Island, but the big sign says T.I.
Well, T.I. Actually went to jail today, or on this day, for 11 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he violated his parole. Remember he had those big gun charges and all that stuff, and he somehow got away with having like an arsenal of like automatic weapons
Wow.
Jesus.
and selling guns
Jesus.
and stuff and all that crazy stuff. Yeah, so he violated his parole and went in for 11 months on this day. So he didn't get to see the premiere, unfortunately for him.
Unfortunately.
Okay. 11 months. Yeah, I was going to ask if he's out now.
Some
It
vacation
sounds like he's
time,
out
man.
now.
Ain't
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Ain't nothing for the streets.
Yeah, it was just a quick 11
then.
months, and he bounced right back, Chris. You know why?
Why's that?
Because he's the rubber band man.
Wow,
Wild like the Taliban.
wow, that was actually pretty good. I wonder if he.
You say actually like you weren't expecting it.
Well, it's you. You have these jokes that like, yeah, okay, sure, by like a scientific perspective, they're probably pretty decent, but like no one fucking
Scientists
understands
love
what the
my
fuck you're saying half the time.
Yeah,
you're a little
that's
too
true.
smart for the common folk, for the plebeian.
Well, a lot of our listeners after last week's episode were saying that I took a heel turn, which I resent because I was just being me this
How?
whole time. I don't know. They said I was the bad guy for some reason.
You know what's so funny is
Well,
I'm Stone Cold. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. You guys are trying to make me the heel, but I'm such a fucking cool ass dude that regardless of me being the actual bad guy, everybody loves me.
hey, hold on. What happened? I thought we were on the same side. We're not on the same side anymore?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, screw that. I take it back. We're the nation of domination. I'm the Rock. I'm the Rock Nation of domination.
I don't know
Who's
if
Jay
we're quite
Praise
the
be
nation.
Allah. That's my
I
fault.
don't know if we're quite the nation. I don't know. Just something seems like
Something missing. There's something missing.
something doesn't seem right. No comment.
Well, until Jay starts calling me other people's names, I think that we might be missing that thing.
Right. Okay. All right. Hey, by the way, this is Jackass 3. We just kind of started this off like, hey, another episode. No, this is fucking...
It's a big deal.
This is a big deal. I want the listener to know that we're not downplaying this at all. We're excited. Are you boys excited?
Yeah. I was
pumped. Do I have to ask?
I was pumped. I got, putting this movie on. I don't get me wrong. I love Wild Boys and I love Viva La Bam,
Sure.
and taking those little side journeys in order to review those seasons of TV have been a lot of fun. But the podcast is called Jackass. I love Jackass above all else. And we knew we had this one on our horizons in Jackass 3. We waited for a special occasion. Today we are recording episode 98. You are listening to episode 98. And we figured we would eclipse 100 by doing a portion of Jackass 3D, the biggest thing on our radar, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it was a long time coming, but we wanted to save it for the right time. I'm glad we're doing it now. Yeah, just sit back and enjoy the ride. We're going to savor every moment of this. I want to remind you, listener, that we're doing a callback in this episode. We're bringing back the rating of stunts.
Yes.
So you're going to get our ratings. It's been a long time. Just for the record, I hope you boys still remember how to do this. It's been a while.
Yeah, I remember.
There's no 6.5s.
We give it, no, there's no 6.5s. Chris and I give a fair and honest rating, and then you come in and give some bullshit low score.
Hey, Mike, don't you be talking to my brother like that. We're the nation of domination, dude.
Yeah, the nation of domination.
Jay and I just slowly backing out of Canada.
No, I'm not backing out.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Like, it's getting close. Like, we're in the yellow.
Yeah.
Once we get to the red, maybe I'll back out. We're good for now, though.
I'll get us there, Jay. Don't you worry. Just buckle up.
No, I'm not worried. Actually, I fully expect it. This will be a multi-part episode. We're not going to do this if you're new in one shot. Point. So we're going to have multi-parts here, but we're going to try to savor this because this really is, as it stands right now, the last major Jackass thing that we'll do. But don't worry, we've got some handy ideas after this to keep the Jackass love flowing on this podcast. So don't fear if you're worried about that. Just enjoy this as a celebration of what I think is shaping up to be. I'm not spoiling it yet, but let's just say I'm very happy to have turned this on today and be back with the crew. That's all I'm saying for now. It feels good.
Can we start by doing this before we get into the stunt by stunt breakdown? Can we start by each giving a little context into what our experience with Jackass 3D is? When was the first time you saw it? What were your first impressions? And then we can kind of build on that as we go through the stunts of how our impressions have changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah.
What was your first viewing like?
I'm 95% sure me and you saw this together, eh, Mikey? In theaters?
No, I saw it in Halifax.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I definitely saw it on this day that it opened up. I know these Jackass movies I always see on the opening date, and normally I hate 3D movies. You know what I mean? I do not like the glasses on. It makes me feel weird. This was the first time I was really excited to have 3D on, and right off the jump when you see like the rooster, the Dickhouse rooster coming up, it just got me hyped up. And I remember just the excitement level was building through the roof right as this was happening. Also to the point that I'm concerned that watching it not in 3D as we're going back rewatching it, because I don't have a 3D TV and I don't think anybody in the world has one of those anymore. How much was going to be missing? Was it still going to hit? Because a lot of these bits were directly filmed to get a kick out of the 3D. You know what I'm saying? So I loved this when it came out. I always love those Friday nights when they release the movies and you go out and you see a Jackass movie with a bunch of rowdy people in the theaters. That feeling never gets beaten for me. So that's my thoughts.
And then finish with where you rated Jackass 3 compared to 1 and 2, if you have that handy.
If I remember correctly, it's not even if I remember correctly. Number 2 was my favorite, then number 3 and number 1.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Jay, what about you?
I just want to point to something Chris said about going to the theater and watching. This was, in my opinion, I'm not trying to fucking gatekeep all you fucking who's Gen Zs or whatever. I'm not trying to gatekeep you here, but I'm just saying Jackass 3 was probably the last time you actually got that authentic theater experience watching one of these movies. I did not feel it. And to be fair, it was during the pandemic when Forever came out, so that probably affected things. but it wasn't not nearly the same as I remember 3 being. Like 3 was right out of the gate after the Dick House logo. Like it was so fucking loud in the theater because people were cheering and they hadn't even seen anything happen yet. You know, there was a vibe to this whole thing and it really was just like a big party in the theater. I went in I believe if this was 2010, I'm trying to remember because honestly it was so long ago that it's a little hazy. I don't know if I went in my small town theater for this one or if I had moved at that point. It's hard to remember, but I do remember the atmosphere and just, we're going to talk about the intro in a second, so I won't spoil the sketches yet. But during that opening, I just remember laughing harder and it felt like a return to something that I had been, like it was like a long lost relationship rekindled or something. Like I hadn't felt that way since Jackass 2. And it was just immediately right out of the gate. They're just hitting all the right notes, and I'll just never forget it. I'm with Chris too. I hate 3D movies because I think it was just a gimmick. Like at first I thought it was kind of cool. I wasn't one of those people who was like having PTSD and fucking withdrawal symptoms from, you know, when the first Avatar came out, which I never fucking understood.
I did.
A lot of weird Avatar porn going on, I'm sure, around this time.
I never thought to look that up.
Oh, it's got to be everywhere. But I never got that. But I think the closest I got to that was Jackass 3. Like, I remember leaving the theater and being like, I just want to go back and do that again right now. Like, it's a special experience, and I'm glad we're reliving it now. And if you're going to ask about my rating, Mikey, I would say that I believe, like, don't quote me on this because I don't remember, but I think I put Jackass 1 above 2. I think.
Oh, really?
I can't quite remember.
I think you may have, actually. I think you may have.
But we're not giving away our final verdict on this yet, right?
No, this is impressions like leading, like when after you had seen number 3 in 2010, where did you think you rated it? Because my rankings for all the Jackass stunts and everything have changed since we've gone back to re-see them.
I think at that point, I probably at the time would have rated 2 better. 2, just because if you're just basing it solely off of first watches, when I went to the theater in 2, I remember that being a wilder experience than 1. And I remember that experience more fondly, even though now I think I might put the first movie for nostalgia factor above, just because going back when we watched it, I realized how many of those stunts I had forgotten about that were classics that I loved, that stuck with me and stood the test of time. But we'll see if that same thing happens here today. I don't know. Mikey, how about you?
Yeah, I have a very different story for when I first saw Jackass 3D. Keeping in mind that Jackass 2 came out in 2006 and Jackass 3D came out in 2010, it was... And we didn't have the TV series to hold us over or anything. There was a dark period where Jackass nothing was happening apart from like the Viva La Bams and Ryan Dunn Home Wrecker and Wild Boys. There was some content there, but Jackass as Jackass, our Johnny Knoxville fix was our itch was not being scratched. So it coming back was a big deal. However, it had been 4 years and I had been focused on other things. That period of 2006 to 2010, my love of Jackass was at its lowest. Not because I disliked it, but just because I wasn't aware of it. It was like, okay, put that in a box. I'm going to set that over there and go on to different things. So when it came out, I was like, oh, cool, Jackass is out. But I wasn't as excited for it. I didn't see it opening.
You wonder why you're the fucking heel of the show. Come on.
I saw it the next day, and I was supremely hungover. 3D movies with hangovers don't mix well. 3D movies with hangovers with piss, shit, and vomit all over the place also don't mix very well.
Oh, shit. I thought you meant you were covered in piss, shit, and
probably
vomit.
by the end.
I typically am. It was a long Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there were moments in this when I wanted to throw up, sometimes because of the content and sometimes because I was just not feeling well. So I left there without a great impression of the movie. And that kind of lingered. I never really thought of it as the best of the best for Jackass. I always thought Jackass 2, then 1, then 3 in terms of the rankings. So I was really excited to go back and give it another shot with a fresh set of eyes that wasn't quite as hungover. And we'll see how that shapes up for me moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel that way with that Scott Pilgrim movie. I fucking hate that movie because I had the worst hangover of my life. It was like thundering waves of pulsating just pain and agony every 2 minutes, and trying to watch that movie the next morning with a bunch of people. I also don't like whiny fucking indie rock soy boys, but you know, So maybe it had something to do with that.
I'm winning. Jay's coming over to the good team, man. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I'm pushing it into the red this time. Fuck it.
Let's go.
It's Jackass 3. It's a special occasion, boys. Are you ready to dive into this?
I'm ready. I can't wait.
All right, let's fucking do it. Dick Host logo up on screen. That's just inappropriate now, isn't it? I did not expect. Now, depending on the version you have, because I believe the theater version and the 3D release on DVD is probably a little bit different than the regular version. I can only imagine. We're not like going that into depth with this, just so the listener knows. We're not watching multiple versions if they exist. So this is just my assumption. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But in the intro here, unexpectedly, you get Beavis and Butthead on screen.
Yep.
Which just made me go, wait, am I watching the right fucking movie right now? I had forgotten that in the theater, they do an intro. So they got Mike Judge on board. He must be a friend or he must like Jackass, I can only imagine. And they do this little intro where they're kind of trying to, because 3D at the time is still relatively new, so they're trying to describe and explain to the audience, like, this is where you put your glasses on, but it's done as like a funny sketch where they're, punching each other in the face because the 3D is so fucking real that it actually hits. And I don't know, what'd you guys think of
Beavis and Butthead?
Here's the thing. I just was thinking about this when I saw this. They just re-released Beavis and Butthead. They're re-releasing all these old things, but that was a good show, but it kind of showed, without updating it, how much it isn't going to stand the test of time. It really hit on this kind of niche market, this immature kind of humor and stuff. But I was thinking about it. They really dropped the fucking ball. Because, like, if you watch the actual show Beavis and Butthead, not just the movies, it was like them commenting on music videos on like MTV and stuff like that, and like their take on these music videos. Imagine today's Beavis and Butthead dissecting TikTok videos. Like, how fucking much better would that be than what they're trying to do these days?
Be pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's room for it. I think just in general with TikTok, with Beavis and Butthead. It's been so long since I've had any context. Yes, they did just release the Beavis and Butthead movie, but I'm so far removed from it that my nostalgia for it is almost, I've forgotten about it. So when I saw them show up, I was like, okay, cool. This is good. It was a nice little intro, and we know Mike Judge has had some experience with the Jackass crew. We saw in Jackass 2.5 that he was around to do the poof when he put a bunch of air in Preston Lacey's ass to get the poof going. So it's nice to see that he's still hanging around the crew.
Yeah. I gotta say, though, at the time, can we quickly talk about impressions at the time when you saw Beavis and Butthead? Not now, but in the theater. Because for me, I remember smiling and thinking, this is fucking awesome. Like, I haven't seen Beavis and Butthead. I think it was on a break at that point. Like, there hadn't been any Beavis and Butthead shit for, like, forever.
Not for quite a while. And
then you see them and it's like, oh, holy shit. Yeah. That was cool. There was a pop in the theater for sure.
Beavis and Butthead was never going to give me like a huge pop. Not at that point in my life in 2010, but it was nice to see. It felt almost like it hadn't been enough time since seeing them that it was like cool again. It was almost like they were still kind of on the fringe of like cool or not cool. So I didn't find myself like, oh my God, these guys, I fucking love them. It was, if it happened today, and like if there were a new movie that came out and Beavis and Butthead introed it, I would have been like, oh, I never would have expected that. But it's like how, like Chris Jericho still kind of shows up and you're like, okay, like, all right. But if he took like when Edge came back, you were like, fucking Edge. I haven't seen Edge in forever because he went away for a long time.
Broken fucking neck coming back to wrestle.
Yeah.
There's a real fucking jackass for you. Listen, guys, we got to jump right into this because I cannot contain myself any longer. We've done the preamble. This is it, everybody. Listeners, get ready for Jackass 3D. The gates of heaven open. Hashtag smoky times, boys. They must have like, their dad must have like a fucking, he works at a smoke machine company or something because he's set them up. Like these guys are looking good at the high school talent show this year. That's all I'm saying. So the gates of heaven open, and this is where we get the boys walk out. And I don't know about you two, but because we've been watching so much Wild Boys and other non-Jackass content where everybody's together, when I saw them walk out, big smile on my face. Same. They hadn't even done a thing yet, and I was just already in heaven, for lack of a better.
It's the Transformers coming, or it's the Power Rangers making Megazord. Like, sure, the Power Rangers are all cool on their own, but the power comes when they all come together, and that's what we're getting
exactly
here.
It.
Yeah.
Huge pop for them coming out.
Did you notice in slow motion, because you get Johnny Knoxville nut-sacking Wee Man. And you notice Knoxville has his hands covering his dick the whole time. Yeah. His hands do not leave that position for the whole movie. Every time you see him, he's covering his nuts. It's fantastic.
He's scared. He knows he's now you're in the fucking no man's land. At any point, you could get a nut shot. You got to be fucking careful here. But before we jump into what happens in the intro, I want to talk about the costumes. Okay. Can I lay out the costumes for the listener right now? Slow motion. They're coming out the door. Big set. They've got this huge rainbow painted on the background, and they're all walking out, just strutting their shit here. But we've got Bam dressed up as a giant cupcake, Steve-O in Angel's wings. If you got Wee Man, this took me a second, so bear with me. I was thinking Fireman. Nope. Sunflower plantation owner. No. Oh shit, he's a fisherman. Okay, I guess they call him Jay the Fisherman after all. Knoxville comes out. He's a sailor. You got Ryan Dunn in like an old-timey boat conductor.
Or like a marching band or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Aaron, he's Aaron was the skater, right? Yeah. No, that was Dave. Dave's the skater. Aaron's the fucking I fucked up in my notes and wrote Aaron the car. He was not dressed up as an automobile. So someone's going to have to fill me in on that one. I don't remember what Aaron was. But Preston the pirate, and then you got
Aaron was dressed up as like the cat, wasn't he? I think you mistyped car and cat.
Yeah, he was a cat. And then you got Pontius here, just being way too fucking sexy, all-American party boy. He's the only one who just kind of went with the standard, but he stood out because that's all you need to do. You don't need to dress Pontius up. Just get him in the fucking American, undies, and you're good to go. What'd you guys think of the costume layout here? Good selection?
It was good.
Happy with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that stood out to me the most is the strangest was Bam as the cupcake.
100%. That was my favorite one by far.
What is happening? Yeah, like weird in a good way. Yes, I like the meat and potatoes Chris Pontius, where it's just Pontius and a Speedo. But then the absurdity of Bam going so far the other way is also very Bam Margera. So I appreciated that. And like, one thing I noticed throughout Jackass 3D or 3, depending on the version you watched, is that Bam Margera, he's kind of nowhere to be seen in a lot of this one. And not just like, sure, he's on camera a lot, but his personality is absent from a lot of the stunts that he's in. And this one, though, it seemed like he was at least having some fun with. So it was good to see.
You think that, eh?
Oh, yeah. We'll go through it like stunt by stunt as I noticed him kind of not giving his all, because there are some where he does. And I make a specific note saying like, okay, Bam's back. This is good. But there was a lot of it where it just seemed like he was kind of on the outskirts and maybe just fed up or something.
I literally think the exact opposite.
Yeah.
My number one take of watching this, like from the moment he comes on camera, when Dunn's behind him in this little bit over here, and Dunn whacks him, and Bam turns around and normally he just hits people back, and you're just like, oh, Dunn's going to get it big time. And he just looks at him and does this weird little shimmy thing in his freaking cupcake soup and the weirdest thing, and then turns around. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And from that moment, I was like, it actually watching this made me rethink my stance on the Bam Jackass situation. Before I was kind of like, man, yeah, like it is what it is, da-da-da. And I miss Bam so much watching this. It fucking really pissed me off, because I really started thinking I'm like, all these movies, all you guys were getting fucked up the whole time. You show up to film, you do your shit. You're not in the best condition some days. You're in great condition other days. This was the model of Jackass for so long. He's in the fucking movie. He's already at the set. He's doing his stuff. Like, so you give him some fucking contract, he can't party? Like, fuck off. Like, really, when it comes down to it, I'm sure he was good enough just to get his shit done and be in the sketches. And they wanted to send some fucking things, probably because he's the second biggest earning money maker, to be honest. Like, a lot of this shit makes me really think that fucking, Knoxville and Jeff Tremaine, like, it's no fucking secret that they actually keep most of this money, and these guys aren't well paid. Even like Steve-O tried to do like a little hold off for his contract, and they're like, well, then you're not in the movie. It's kind of like, you know what, fuck off. I'm sick of it. They got to get Bam back in this shit, because it's just not the same without him, and he was very evident watching this.
Yeah, it's tough to know for sure. We're all on the outside, but the trouble is Bam is so far gone right now in terms of his addiction, and everyone around him says they're just bracing for news of his death, which is like a hard thing to say, but they've said that on multiple occasions.
Yeah, but then
including Steve.
Do you think kicking him off the movie and isolating him would help that situation? I really don't think so.
Here's the.
I think they're doing it though for good reason. Like, it's not. I think you're right, Chris. It's like that is the worst thing you could do to him. But by doing that, and putting him on the movie, he's either going to be miserable because he can't party, or like it's going to bring back feelings of like, oh, I gotta fucking have a beer, or I gotta, or whatever. And
it's
then that's just a
it's the
downward
Chris
spiral.
Farley corollary.
It's like
what
you
killed Chris
can't
Farley
win.
was bringing him back to Saturday Night Live. Everyone
Right.
says it. And you put them in there, you give them the taste of immortality again, and you risk them driving that into the ground. And I worry that would have been the case.
It's not
worked for
stopping
Steve-O.
him or slowing him down. And the guys on Jackass don't party. It's probably better that he's around them not partying like they used to than off with his friends feeling isolated and partying in secret, you know?
You know what they should do is have Bam on as like a producer or something, because he's always been like a creative mind. You know, you think of the napkins he draws with the sketches. Like, why couldn't, if they're going to do, for example, a TV show in the future or something, right? Okay, have him as like a producer where you're not taking part in the show, you're not in the stunts, you're maybe not even on set, but we want you to help us like come up with ideas. Like, give him some of that magic back. And like, I'm not trying to like prescribe a fix for Bam Margera. He's clearly got his own issues to deal with and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, if that's what he wanted, maybe something like that is better or more like healthier for him. You know what I mean?
It's
because
tough.
Chris, you're right. Like, you just cut him off.
I don't think isolation helps in these situations. If you maybe you threat that, and then if he doesn't get it sorted, but like the last thing people in those situations want to feel is like they can't be around people. They can't be around the people that actually care about them because they're being judged, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes down to it, it's like he was part of the crew. I'm sure what he's doing hasn't changed much from what they were doing anyways. It's just everybody else changed a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he couldn't handle it the same way,
change.
but it's like, put him in the fucking movie. He was already on set. It's not like he wasn't showing up to set, and to cut him off in that situation.
That's we don't know for sure how hard it was to deal with him on set, right? Like maybe it was an element of him showing up.
So then keep him in a few bits. Don't like edit him out of certain bits and don't give him, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's already done. Like, to me, they did him dirty.
Know as us, we don't know. We don't know the full story. What they've said is that they started to feel as though they were an accessory to his alcoholism when they were around him. And they saw what the situation he was getting himself into, and they said, we can't be around you when you're like this. It's not fun and it's not funny anymore. You need to change. Because look, yes, it's a movie, and yes, it's a project. The part of what they said there that I understand is if there was someone in my life who were driving their car into the wall time and time again, and I knew eventually it was going to kill them, and I kept handing them the keys to the car, I would feel like eventually and I keep telling them, I'm not, like, you have to get this under control. And then finally I would just say, I don't want to be around you. You're going to crash your car. I don't want to be around you when it happens. And I'm sorry, but at some point you're doing this to me by constantly getting yourself back in the situation. And that's what I would be afraid of, is that I'm around the person, I've enabled them, and then they die, and now I feel guilty about it. And it's just a shitty situation to be in.
Yeah, no, there's no winning. There's no winning in a situation like this. I think when just watching this, Jackass doesn't feel Jackass without him. So maybe I'm letting
that. I totally agree.
I'm letting those
100%
things come aside where I get a resentment, because it's just so much fucking better every time he's in the frame. He's just one of those people. We already don't have done anymore, so we're already losing that. Like, we lost the biggest chunk of what is essentially half of Jackass. You know what I mean? The two competing heads. So I just wanted to fucking see him back, man. It's fucking sad.
I hear you.
For sure.
He's part of the equation, for sure. And you mentioned Dunn there, and man, I'm so happy seeing him back.
For sure.
Because he's been so absent from our content on the podcast here for a while. And when I saw him come out, it was just like, fuck yeah, I forgot about Dunn being in this. And I was so stoked. And he highlights in so many of the early sketches too. So it's just,
this movie is the best
man.
version of Ryan Dunn. This is him at his absolute best. He's so funny and he's so charming.
Okay. So almost 100 episodes later, Mikey, take us back on a trip with you for nostalgia's sake. Where did you start out with Ryan Dunn? Think back to season 1 TV show.
So
where are you now?
I loved Ryan Dunn when I was a kid. You know, he was so charming. He was so fucking cool. So to go back to Jackass Volume 1 and see him go by the name Plugs with none of his confidence, no beard, no self-identity. He would pull out of sketches. He didn't like getting hurt. He complained all the time. He oversold his injuries, but not in a fun way. It was so hard to watch because I'm like, I know this isn't him. I know he gets so much better. And I was hard on him, but I knew eventually he turns it around, and he started to around Jackass 2 and then in Viva La Bam. But this is like his magnum opus. This is the best version of Ryan Dunn.
Why do you
this is
do
the
that,
version
Mikey?
I remember of him. What?
Why do you gotta throw in these random phrases? Magnus opus. Fucking trying to pretend you're all fucking smart and shit. No one gives a fuck. No one knows what you say. Stop trying to fucking stunt on everybody. It's fucking stupid, man. Jesus Christ.
Magnum opus.
Oh, magnum opus.
I
Why don't you just say it's his fucking coolest day ever? You know,
opus.
like something like that. You got to fucking jazz it up and just be
ever.
fucking Mr. I'm on my high castle with my mustache.
You're turning very Don Vito. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, but at least people can
it only
probably
took 30
understand that
minutes
better
this
than
time,
your
too.
stupid fucking phrases that no one knows that you've learned in fucking studying like 10th year friggin' Latin.
10th year.
It was his magnum opus, is what I'm trying to say. But
Like it was
there's
his
a moment
Jackass
where-
Roman numeral 211V.
You know what? That would have been pretty cool if it were. That was actually like, hey, look at Chris being smart all of a sudden.
Did he say 11V?
I think he means IIV. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there you go again. Like you just fucking have to correct everybody.
It is because
Okay,
it's
whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Move on.
Listen, guys.
Magnum opus, Mr. Holland's opus.
he said that instead of III, I think, or is it IIV?
Well, no, because is Jackass 3 we're talking about? Like, what are you talking about? It would just be 3 fucking lines.
That's it's IV and VI. Yeah, but
Look, I have the Rocky box set right next to me. Would you like me to confirm? Like, I'm not even... Here.
there you go. It is Rocky III.
Ah, man.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
That was the most Chris moment of all time.
And the most
but
Chris moment is to have someone actually have the fucking box set to prove me wrong, like right on the spot.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
You're welcome.
Don't worry, Jay. I love you.
The
so.
most Danger Aaron moment of all time, and this was one of my the things that tickled me the most about the intro is Ryan Dunn's walking by Danger Aaron, and Danger Aaron goes to give him a spank and completely misses Ryan Dunn's ass. Whiffed it hard, and it looks so much worse in slow motion, which is that was great.
So, yeah, I guess we're only on the intro. We should probably pick it up here a little bit, but let's go through some of the sketches that happen because we get everyone in a line. They're basically saying, hello, audience, we're fucking back. That's what this moment is, and it's brilliant, and I love it. It's a good way to communicate with your audience who's been waiting so long to see you back on screen, and this is just for us as the viewers, this moment. What's next is you could tell it's the boys, like, I'm just watching sketch by sketch because what happens is everyone gets their own painful kind of stunt to introduce them here in slow motion and 3D if you're watching in 3D. But what I'm thinking the whole time watching these is like, how did they decide who was going to do what? Was it like a committee, we're all going to vote? Or was it like based on everyone's personality? Because sometimes it seems that way. Like, for example, when you get Preston getting the cannonball right in the gut, yeah, it makes perfect sense that you do that with him. But you get, the big 3D blow up inflatable tube that comes out, which we saw in Jackass 2, and hits Knoxville right in the side of the head.
And turns his face to plastic, to rubber.
God.
The number of slow motion hits that you get in this movie, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good, man. And like you get the fucking hand slap to Pontius, big giant glove, which we'll see make an appearance in just a bit here. And it just keeps getting better and better. I gotta say the best one for me though is, and I think we can all agree,
100%.
it's the flying fucking drop kick to Dave in midair there.
To Dunn.
No, not Dave. Sorry, that's Dunn.
Drop kick's done. Yeah.
Done.
He literally
So,
takes a
yeah,
fucking Miro
just-
Crow Cop fucking kick to the fucking face. Like, how did he not get knocked out?
Dude, it's incredible. Like, they must have used a trampoline for this because it looks so fucking good. He's like he's fucking horizontal in midair and those feet extend out. They're perfect side by side. And when he hits Dunn in the face, you said Knoxville turned to plastic earlier. This is like a fucking jar of jelly or something.
Yeah.
His face doesn't even look like a fucking face anymore.
It doesn't. His body doesn't look like a body. There's two things I want to note about this drop kick, apart from the fact that the accuracy in it is outstanding. Good job, Dave. I don't know that I could do that on my first try, and you better fucking hit this on your first try. You don't want to get a neck hit and then have to do it again or something like that. But the one thing I want to bring up is, yes, he does get a drop kick to the chin. He gets some sweet chin music. But also, a balloon pops on the back of his head. Like, at that point, isn't it a bit redundant? Like, I don't think we need that. The last part is when he takes the foot to the chin, he looks like he's so dazed that he looks off to the side and his eyes are like the eyes of someone tripping on mushrooms who notices the trees are talking to them. Like he's not on this plane anymore. It's almost scary to see him like, well, that's a concussion for sure. I don't care if he stands up after. That's like Will Smith was concerned about that shit in the movie Concussion. Like that was rough.
Yeah. It's a sight to see, and I'm glad they caught it in such high fidelity on camera in slow motion, because you could watch that over and over. Like, you could wake up every day. Fuck waking up every day and watching it. You could have it on like a fucking framed video screen in your house on the wall that just plays this moment over and over like an art piece.
Yeah, make it an NFT.
And make it an NFT. That's all we got to do, because it is gold, and it is the best part of this intro. And of course, you get everything. You get Wee Man getting slapped with some big old fish. You do the Steve-O jump from a trampoline into a ceiling fan and land on a table, which is a rehash, right? Because he did this in, like, it's just a rehash of
in the hotel room.
When did we see this initially?
Back
it was
in the
just
day.
in the TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's done things like this a few times.
So it was good, because it was like, this is a signature Steve-O move. Let's do it again in 3D, which is cool. And I'm sure in 3D, the pieces of table fucking fly right at you and shit. It's real cool. We get Bam getting hit in the midsection with a giant baseball bat looking thing. And Aaron getting paintballed, which is a classic, but I think out of all of them, for me personally, that was probably one of the weaker ones.
But is it okay? Can we talk about that for a quick second?
Okay,
Aaron from 10 feet away is getting blasted with paintballs, and we look at that like not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
That was the biggest. That's what Johnny Knoxville did on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Like close-up paintballs used to be the most badass thing you can do. He, as part of the original cup test, took a paintball to his cup, and that was supposed to be like a big thing. And he got shot in the leg, and he's like, "That's to show how far we've come, or they've come as stunt people in Jackass. That this is the worst part. Is like." You know, in a video game when like you face a boss and then 10 hours later in the game, they're just like a field character, like a field enemy running around. Like this is just a throwaway thing.
See, Mikey, and you didn't have to use any fucking stupid words.
Yeah,
that was a perfectly good analogy. No Magnus Opuses. That was much better. Something we can all enjoy. You know?
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for pointing it out.
You're welcome.
That's true. Maybe I should dumb myself down for our listeners. I'm not
Wow.
sure.
Wow.
This is my.
Did you just call our listeners dumb? Dumb yourself down.
I don't think
they'd
understand it. I don't think they'd understand it if I said that.
I thought he was
he's
talking
not a man
down
of the
to me.
people.
Come on.
He's not a man of the people.
No, clearly not.
Not those people.
So if that's not enough for you, all of this in slow-mo and 3D. Guys, for me, I can't believe I'm telling you this. This is my new favorite movie intro. This is it.
I actually totally agree.
It's just so good. Yeah. But it's got this like butt rock 80s hair metal playing in the background, which I normally fucking hate, but for some reason it works so good here, and it actually got me pumped that the boys are back. Like the slow-mo's the slow-mo stunts are just wholesome selections of like I said earlier, here's a guy's personality, here's a stunt to go with it for how we feel about him. And everybody's just happy. There's good energy. You can tell like they're excited to be back for this, and they're not like tired and just over it. It's like, this felt good. And I never thought I'd say that, because that shopping cart in Jackass 1 is so fucking iconic.
Yeah.
But this felt so good. And maybe it's just because it's been a while that I'm feeling it too. But
and imagine seeing that in 3D again. Like, we're not even seeing the best version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still would go shopping cart, because it was all consolidated into one story, like one central idea, and the shopping cart is so iconic, and I like the simplicity of it. But this was definitely my number 2.
Okay. Hey, wasn't there supposed to be a flying dildo? Did I miss that?
That comes later in the movie. That comes later in the movie. Yeah.
Not to spoil anything. Spoilers for the flying dildo. But yeah, I was expecting to see it in the intro, and it wasn't there. So, okay. We're here. Let's do it, people. Finally, only, 45 minutes later or so. No big deal. No big deal. We're getting there. I told you we're going to savor every fucking drop of this. Let's do it. This is the giant hand. And my God, is this just the best way to start this film, because it's not something that's an elaborate setup that you can tell took them like a day to get prepped. They're just showing up at their first, what I can assume is their first shoot. They're in a kitchen somewhere, and they're just kind of greeting each other as they come in, but they've got this big hand on a giant spring right around the corner, like right when you enter this kitchen area, and nobody knows what's coming for them. This is classic, iconic Jackass right here. And first dude to go down is Ryan Dunn. And when I seen him coming around the corner with that smile on his face, he's talking to Wee Man. He's like, "Sup, nerd?" They're making fun of each other. And then the slaps comes. And the thing I love most, and boys, I want your opinion on this too, is that when Dunn goes down, no hard feelings, smile on his face. He's like, dude, you played it off so good. Everybody is like just so happy to be back doing this shit. And I loved seeing that.
Well, it's interesting just to touch on that quickly. There's a calendar they're in an office, and there's a calendar in the office, and the calendar says May 2010. This movie came out in October of 2010. So this had to have been one of the last things that they filmed, and they edited it pretty quickly to get it in there. So it was almost like, maybe they were coming in to watch like an early cut of the movie. So they may really not have been expecting anything. They may have thought filming was done and then this is it, which makes it that much better. And by the way, low-key MVP of this stunt, I know we're not going to do MVPs for everyone, is Wee Man. He sells it so 100%. Well every single time. He's so good.
He's so good.
Like the way he doesn't, like, he's not even looking at, you know how hard it would be not to look at them when they're coming in? Like he looks at them and then starts looking straight ahead and then he just casually talks.
Yeah.
It is so perfect. Like so many people would give you like an inclining where you just see that look in their eye and you're like, uh-oh, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
He kills it. Oh man, I love it.
There are two linchpins in this stunt. One is the linchpin that springs the hand over to the doorway, and there is one which is the success of the stunt relies on the linchpin of Wee Man selling people walking through that door.
That's it, and he sells it well, so well that they even got Aaron to carry in a tray of hot soup, which, come on. Tray full of soup, he's not going to do it, says one of the guys as he comes in. He's like, he's not coming, he's not going to do it. And then lo and behold, there he is around the corner, and he's just looking around like some shit's about to happen. He knows that this is just bad, but he still makes his way to that doorway, and Knoxville's reaction when he goes down and he's all covered in soup, and he's laughing. He says, he fell for the soup. It's like, yeah, I didn't think he would fall for the soup either. I'm just as surprised.
I'm surprised that they were surprised. Like, it doesn't seem like they... Like, why wouldn't he? He's just like, someone asks him like, hey, can you carry these soups into the kit? Like, okay, sure. But I mean, in hindsight, it's weird.
You're in a Hollywood movie. You don't think you have people that bring your food for you. You're not getting the stars of the movie to carry in a tray of fucking hot soup.
True.
And he fucking failed the number one kitchen rule. When you go around a corner holding hot soup, you must yell hot soup. Everybody knows this. It's a health hazard. You don't want to end up like that lady in the PSA with the burnt face. Yeah. That gave me nightmares. You know what I'm talking about. That's how bad that one is.
I know how important it is to yell corner or hot or something like that.
Come on. Yeah. Chris, you're the big Bam Margera spokesman for this episode as we determined in the intro. I know you're very passionate about your Bam Margera and how he adds to the whole cast here and his presence being important. What did you think of Bam being here for his debut in the big hand?
It's just so funny because this is to me, this is like the way you're saying this was peak Dunn. This is like peak Bam to me. He's like oozing with confidence. His dress is all cool. He's got his swagger about him, but he's just about to tip over that edge where he's a little full of himself in a certain aspect. You know what I mean? So that fucking powder slap right to the face just to humble you back down. He has this nice, cool outfit on and just gets caked in that shit. I fucking loved it, man. And I love his reaction, too. He fucking thought it was funny,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And what a way to just tape those big bags of flour, right? Because, like, that's a bag of flour is, like, relatively heavy. It's packed. It's condensed. So I can only imagine that coming at you at that speed and hitting you probably doesn't feel very good either.
Well, he goes legit horizontal. Like, he is... Yeah. Like perpendicular, parallel to the ground. Like, he is just like up feet as high as his neck. It's the funniest reaction. This would have been the kind of thing, in Jackass 2, how I had some moments where I'm like, it looked like they edited that to remove a couple frames to make it look a little bit more intense than it was.
No, bringing back the conspiracy theories.
No, I'm saying this one didn't look like that. It looked totally legit, and he just got upended, which is fantastic. And at the end of it, he's laying on the ground. They're showing the slow motion. If you look just to the left of the doorway, there's a massive first aid kit. And like the useless feeling of a first aid kit on the set of a Jackass movie. It's like that sad pitcher of water that they put in a bar that no one ever touches. It's like, this thing's not getting any use. Don't worry about it.
If they're going to have a first aid kit, it has to be like a novelty, like 4 times the size first aid kit,
exactly. And they have to throw it at someone's head. Like that's what
it's like a box of condoms at a fucking bukkake fucking or a cream pie fucking porn shoot.
Exactly.
Why is it there?
Get it out of there. We got to see the cum. We have to see the cum.
That's the point.
Do you guys want to give this one a review?
He's got one guy wearing one. Who invited that guy? I do want to give it a review, Mikey, but
that would be
before,
Mikey. Oh, I gotta play it safe. I can't fucking have sex without a condom.
I don't have sex without condoms. It's dangerous.
You're such a fucking loser, bro. Grow up.
Icky. I gotta say one thing though. We talked about it earlier about Bam Margera and the hardships between the group and him. Did you guys notice what they said about Bam here?
I don't remember. No. What did they say?
They referred to Bam Margera as our friend Bam. So remember that, kids. They said it on camera. Our friend Bam.
He is their friend.
If things are fucked up now, I think at the heart of the issue, they still love the guy.
Yeah,
they're friends. So. You can tell even now, if things are a bit rocky, that he's our friend Bam. Like they want him here. It's a good thing. I just wanted to note that because it felt good to hear
it's
after
a little
all
endearing.
the shit that's been going on.
100%. Jay, do you want to continue on and give your review of the high five?
Ooh, giving me the honors for the first review of the Jackass 3. Fuck yeah, let's do this. So, yeah, the high five. Oh my God, man. When I saw this in the theater for the first time, I remember just knowing we were in for something special because this, you have to remember, like, and I think we talked about this in Jackass Forever. They had a big hand with the Machine Gun Kelly thing, and it didn't quite land the same. So it's like, we've seen that, and I kind of want it to be fresh. This is the fresh baked 6 a.m. You go to the bakery and you're getting your fucking fresh baked high five. The first time we're seeing it, I can just smell it, man. It's in the air and it smells good.
It smells like tomato soup for some reason.
Yeah, it smells like tomato soup. And this is so fucking iconic that I'm starting off on a high note. Like, you can't recreate it. Did I like that? Here's a good question. Did I like this more than the Valentine's Day card thing with the big heart?
That's the big question.
Boxing glove. I don't think I did, but they took that concept and one-upped it here, and like it was just as good in the theater. I wasn't like upset that they were doing something similar again. I was like, fuck yeah, more of this. So I'm going with a solid 8 out of 10 for this one because it's a great way to start this. I don't think it's like a perfect 10. I don't want to push it into 9 because I feel like I rated that boxing glove one higher.
Yeah, you rated the boxing glove a 9, the punch card one. Okay,
so I think that sounds about right for me.
Chris, what about you?
It's a perfect 10 for me, man.
Okay.
to be honest, it's like you said, did I like it better than the Valentine's Day card? No, but was it equally as good? Sure. Or was it maybe slightly less? But I know for a fact I gave the Valentine's Day thing a 10. I'm assuming anyways. But,
yeah, you did.
Okay.
This is just as good, man. I love it. When that hand came out to start this movie, because like, yeah, we watched it before, but we don't know the order of things. We don't remember which was part of which, et cetera, et cetera. Like, my dick almost got hard. Like, I was so fucking excited to see this fucking shit because I know I loved it, and it doesn't let me down. It just makes me laugh. I burst out to laugh every time I see it. What more do you ask for out of a 10?
Yeah, I gave the punch card a 9.5 out of 10, and I think 1-to-1, out of context of the movie and release date, I like the punch card better, but there's something about the choice to have this as the first stunt of the movie. We haven't seen these guys in a while. It's our favorite type of stunt, which is just the crew together pulling pranks on one another. Everyone gets in, and it's like when you've been pranked, now you're on our side, and now we pay it forward to the next crew. Because of the context of it, I'm actually going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's like placing a song in the right spot on a record or something like that. In context of the rest of the movie. And the choice to put it here, and the fact that we haven't seen these guys doing this in 4 years at the time that it came out, I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
It's not quite a man farting out a poof of baby powder, but you know what? You know my rating scale. I can understand why you went 10 for sure. Like it's again, I use the analogy a lot this episode, but it's like going to a wrestling show and seeing your favorite guy come out. It's a pop. You're just immediately like, the first time it happens, you're like, fuck yeah, on board. Love it. But yeah, we're moving on, guys, because everybody's dressed up here in their best toga outfits. It's college days after all, and as Pontius says, you know, when we were young, we were wild. Wet t-shirts, body shots, cornholing. Does anyone, by the way, cornholing, does anyone want to give the listeners, should we Urban Dictionary cornholing real quick?
I thought it was just that game where you throw the sandbag into the hole.
Yeah.
See, this is why we need Urban Dictionary, because that's what you think. That's what you think, but I'd bet to wager that there's something way dirtier waiting for us. For example, butt fucking, anal intercourse, penetrating the rosebud with one's prong.
With one's prong.
That's what they got.
Here's a hot take.
That's probably how Mikey.
Oh wait, Mikey. Though we didn't get the example.
Okay,
we didn't get the example sentence. You need the example sentence because Captain Pissgums and his pervert pirates were always cornholing one another and anything else that moved.
Fucking remember I was talking about how pirates were gay back in the day? Tell me that's not meant to be. There's obviously a conspiracy here.
Yeah.
One random example had to be gay pirates?
Chris's
it's fucking true,
take
guys.
is that people became pirates so that they could be gay at sea. Which is
to quote Chris, he said
that's thing in the world.
That's what
pirates
got them out
people
there.
Gay at sea.
Are they vampire? They turn people gay? What are you talking about?
It's got to happen somehow. Someone converts you.
That's
a joke. That's a joke. I don't even want to play that game.
No,
that's not a game I'm willing to play right now.
Probably a good idea. Here's my take on Urban Dictionary. They try too fucking hard. That's not funny. It's not absurd. They try so hard to go absurd and like silly and gross and stuff. It's like, a bit more subtlety. Urban Dictionary.
It's not Harvard enough for Mikey, in other words.
It's not. It's not. That wasn't their magnum opus, I don't think.
Okay. So this is the jet ski. What it has to do with spring break and the toga? Like, am I missing something here? The jet ski thing?
I seriously have no idea. It's like they just raided the costume department because Johnny Knoxville's dressed up like he's going to prom in like a suit and he's got a jet ski in a water, and the whole premise is he's just going to launch the jet ski from like a small pool over a ramp over a hedge. So I don't get the spring break. Yeah. Maybe it's from a reference to a movie like Animal House or something that I'm missing, but
maybe.
Yeah.
They did toga parties in college, but that wasn't at spring break. Spring break, you leave college, right?
Yes, that's true.
What I loved about this one is the camera angle. I like when he gets on this jet ski, number one, you don't really know what he's going to do. And ultimately what he does is jump the jet ski off a ramp over the hedge. Mm-hmm. But I love how the fact that before the shot, they didn't show you the landing. You don't know what he's getting himself into. Yeah. It's a complete surprise. You see from the back and you're like, what, is he dead? Like, did he jump off a cliff? Like, what the hell happened there, you know?
Yeah.
So it added that element of suspense to it, and I just thought it was, I don't know, I liked it. For something small, it was nice.
Nice. Totally. Yeah, because he just disappears over that hedge, and you're right. You don't know what's on the other side. It is a good shot. I didn't really think of it that in depth.
And you also have the shot from, like, his dashboard, basically. Like, looking up at him, which is great because you see the look on his face, like, oh, fuck. Like, he lands on a slant, so it feels like that would kind of cushion it, but he goes, like, over the handlebars. Just in general, though, like, the pacing of Jackass 3D so far is it's pitch perfect. You got a great intro, you've got a prank sketch, and then an interstitial. Like, on board. Everything about this so far is just so well paced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair. I know we're not going to rate this one because it's kind of a lower tier. It's not lower tier, it's just shorter and sweeter. So we try to stick to the meatier segments to rate. But I will ask you this instead, boys. Was this sketch worth a jet ski?
Yeah. Like breaking the jet ski? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. They've got MTV money. Okay. They've got Paramount money at this point, probably. Like, this is... You could get a shit jet ski for, I don't know, a couple grand.
Okay. Well, round of applause for the king of spring break, and I love here how to send us off. Pontius complains about his dad finding out about this.
That's
so good.
Pontius putting a button on sketches with one dumb line is amazing. I've always loved that.
Yeah. This next one is Steve-O making his first debut appearance of this movie, and just right out of the gate, like, I remember laughing out loud in the theater when he says, "I'm Steve-O," pauses, just says, "Oh fuck, why do I have to be Steve-O?" And his voice goes up a couple octaves when he says it. He clearly does not want to do this. This is T-ball. We've got Ryan Dunn doing the honors to hit the T-ball. And it's going to be a direct, as they say, direct ding-dong hit here, which
he's hitting dingers.
It's pretty simple.
There's nothing to it. Give it a new word for dingers. It's simple. I think the best part about weirdly, because when you tell me someone's about to hit a T-ball into someone's nuts, I'm thinking the best part of the stunt is going to be when the T-ball hits the nuts. That perfect moment. The best part, like you said, Jay, is Steve-O doing the intro. He's acting as though if he doesn't say the intro, he never actually has to go through with the stunt. It's the equivalent of like if a murderer comes into your house and you hide under the covers. Like, if I can't see him, he's not really there. Like, he's like, if I don't say I'm Steve-O, I don't have to get hit in the nuts. And then eventually the realization comes. And he just, this, Chris, you mentioned a few weeks ago that Steve-O has this thing where he's always said 1, 2, 3, go, and then he does it no matter what. Is this the one example where he didn't do it? Because it's like he's going to do it. He's like, I'm Steve. That's the one time I've seen him hesitate. This could be the one exception to his rule.
Or maybe he didn't do the 1, 2, 3 in his head. And then that's when he actually ends up panning it out.
Maybe.
I remember this. I don't know about you guys, but to me, this always is in my mind when I think of like the stunts I would want to do the least. Like, This to me is like one of the most brutal, painful looking stunts in the history of Jackass. It doesn't just because it's not jazzed up, just because there's not a big production around it. To me, like a lot of the times it's those simple ones. If it could sell itself by just being one small little thing, holy shit. And that's a direct fucking hit with a baseball. And there's no room for error because it's not on like a loose string or something like that. It's on a rod. They have a perfect aim lined up. No matter what happens, it's going to get a direct fucking hit square in the dick. Nobody wants that.
And especially it's Ryan Dunn holding the baseball bat. And by the way, no one in this world looks better holding a melee weapon than Ryan Dunn. He just like straps it over his shoulder. Like that guy is cool as shit. He looks like Negan from Walking Dead, like with his baseball bat. I'm like, that fucking guy knows how to hold a melee weapon.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And like at this point, Little League champion Ryan Dunn here. He hits a home run, and it's like you said, it's direct hit no matter what, Chris. So it's pretty much up to the batter and how hard they can hit at this point, and that's the only factor.
And Dunn would probably be one of the people I would least want to be in control of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to hold back.
No.
100%. And this is another example, though, by the way, of Knoxville holding his nuts. He's holding his nuts the entire sketch. He knows something.
Because he knows. Yeah. I think he's just feeling like that's empathy. That's like dude to dude.
Could also be that.
Testicular empathy right there. It's like, I'm feeling this too, man. Because we're all visualizing it before it happens. That's the thing. If you're a guy, you're visualizing the pain, the impact. You're just thinking about just get this over with. Because, holy shit. I don't know if I would choose tying a brick to my knob and dropping it off the edge of a scaffold over this, but still.
or what's that Aaron does? What's the name of that thing? The
pogo stick.
The pogo stick. The pogo stick's the worst one for sure.
That's pretty gnarly. But this is, it's simple but effective. And as Steve-O says, it's only getting worse after he gets hit. It's only getting worse. This next one, Dave England is stepping up for the Bungee Boogie, which is exactly what it sounds like. They've got a ramp with a pool at the end of it. And then basically they're just going to tie these bungee cords together. The same one you tie down the trunk of your car when you go by like a fucking Chesterfield. Does anyone call it a Chesterfield anymore?
Jay,
you go by a Chesterfield?
You are the last person in the world that calls it a Chesterfield. My grandma died 20 years ago.
That was the last time I've heard it.
I'm sure Irving would be on my side on this one.
Yeah, Irving might be. Yeah.
So you got your bungee cords. You link them together, and you're just gonna pull back and get a guy in there like it's a slingshot and try to send them into the pool. And the thing that's great about this is that it's like. It's kind of like with the bungee wedgie and shit like that, where they have to figure out if it's going to work first by testing it on camera.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. They don't fucking know. And the first couple attempts are hilarious. Like the one where they send Dave flying into the side of the fucking pool, and he lands like with his legs in the air. And the impact is just so hard, but it's like that learning process that I think is actually more fun than watching them successfully do it. I
agree. I've always liked the belt sander. I've always been a fan of them getting better at the stunt, or the loop version. Anytime you see them fail and fail terribly, I like that being included as part of the stunt for sure. This one is just so much fun. Like it's just such a fun time. And again, I talk about the pacing of this movie so far, and the placement of the stunts is expertly crafted. This one is like, there are different genres of Jackass stunts, like the interstitials, the nut hits, the intro, the self pranks, and then the can we do it kind of things, where it made, like, this one was called, I think even Dave England's Bungee Boogie, because he's the first one to do it. But then everyone gets in on the fun. Bam wants to go on a skateboard. Dunn goes in a fucking wheelbarrow. Like there's everyone gets in on the fun. They're like, yeah.
Oh, dude, the wheelbarrow. Tell me that doesn't look like no matter how you land, it's just gonna hurt a lot. Like that thing is so fucking heavy. It's unwieldy. Like, you guys ever just be doing yard work, pushing the wheelbarrow around, and you just like
you guys ever just be
shin?
doing yard work?
Yeah.
You guys ever just be doing yard work? You are part of the Nation of Domination domination. What's going on?
Mikey clearly hasn't. Mikey has like slaves to do this work for him.
Clearly not a man of the people here speaking. Yeah, come on.
I don't have a yard. I'm in a Toronto condo. There is no green space around me.
So you're not volunteering, helping clean up the streets?
The 1% here in his Toronto condo downtown. No lawn.
Yeah. You just hide in your friggin' penthouse away from the peasants?
Yeah, I can't get close to them. They have sicknesses.
No, you know what? Mikey does have a lawn. It's just located somewhere outside of Toronto, and he rarely visits, but he's got underpaid illegal workers who come in and do the work for him.
Hey, they're not underpaid compared to what other people pay their illegal workers.
Okay. I don't know if that makes it better. Does that make it better? I'm
just saying it's relative.
All right. So that was fun, but back to the wheelbarrow thing. Like, it looks like it hurts. It's like solid fucking steel. I've hit my like shin or knee on a wheelbarrow before, and it's just like, that's unpleasant. So I can't imagine like having to ride in this fucking thing off a slingshot into a
What's
pool.
up with shins? Like I hit my shin on I hit my shin on bubble wrap, and it's like the most painful thing in the fucking world. Like, it's just, why do we have such a sensitive piece of shit area that like a little flick is gonna fucking debilitate you?
100%.
Yeah, dude, that and the funny bone is that shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
what's that good for?
All that shit sucks. There's the wheelbarrow one. That's what I was thinking as well, was banging your shin on either the wheelbarrow or one of the posts that they were going between, where the elastics are actually hooked up to. I was going to ask you guys, of all the things, and I guess I know your answers, that people go over on: surfboards, skateboards, roller skates, and wheelbarrows, which would you least like to do?
Ooh, good question. Well, probably the wheelbarrow.
I think probably the wheelbarrow.
Probably that's pretty straightforward.
What
would you most want to do? What
would you most want to do?
And you don't have to go by what they go by in this. You can bring whatever you want. What would you bring?
Ooh, you know what would be great? Just like lube up a pair of like downhill skis.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Get into like the squat, and just fucking go for it. That'd be fun.
I like that one a lot. Chris, what about you?
I'm going to turn to Canadian. I'm going to have snow on there, and I'm going to take out the old school GT snow racer.
Oh my God, the snow razor.
Even better. Props to you. You better have the fucking metal brakes on there. No,
you have to have the brakes. But I'm going all gas, no brakes when I'm hitting this fucking jump.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
You're clearing the pool for sure. You're clearing that pool for sure. I was going to go ice skates. I would have like a path of ice or that plastic shit that you can skate on, and I go that way.
Well, then you'll end up doing what ends up eventually happening to the pool and putting a hole in it when you land.
Yep.
Yeah, who would have thought you smack a wheelbarrow into an inflatable pool and it deflates the whole thing?
Yeah.
But that did set up my favorite part of this whole bit.
Yeah. Yeah, run with it.
You get Preston on the other side. So this hole is in the bottom of the pool. And then you have Preston, who does the most charged up run I've ever seen him do in my entire life. He is fucking 100% committed to this. I've never seen him move like that. And he has this look on his face, and he jumps up over and dives through and comes out the hole at the bottom and just basically demolishes the rest of the thing. And, that's the end of that skit.
Yeah.
Fucking perfect way to go out.
He does his Ace Ventura 2 impression.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. So perfect, man. I was going to say that too. It's like, just the way he slides out too. Have you ever seen, there's like a, I don't know if you don't watch wrestling, it's fine, but there is a pretty famous blooper of this guy called Titus O'Neil. He's running into the Royal Rumble and he slips right before the ring and he like penguins under the ring apron and just disappears under the ring. And it is,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Fucking amazing. It reminded me of that in reverse.
Amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, so this whole sketch was like a ton of fun. This is the kind of thing that it's just the boys out in someone's backyard just having some fun. You get the fucking slip and slide out. Let's go and spend an afternoon drinking 5 Alives, and mom will make us a couple cheese sandwiches. We'll have a great time on the slip and slide. In the backyard.
I loved it. It was a ton of fun. Why don't we get into our reviews? I can start us off because this feels like a chunky enough one to do reviews on. For all the reasons that I said, a variety in the stunts, everyone getting in on board. There's some injuries. There's some success. Bam Margera legitimately loses touch with reality when his head hits the ground on the other side of the pool after he goes over on a skateboard. He shuts down like windows. And for all those reasons and more, I'm giving this one an 8.5. Actually, I was going to go a little lower, but man, I just had such a good time with it.
That's fair. Chris, what do you got?
I didn't really like it the same way you guys did. Like, I thought it was good. It was good, average, fun. It was a nice thing. I'm happy it's in the movie, but it didn't like pop at me. I would have gave it 6.9 until the Preston thing, but I'm going to 7.
Okay.
solid. 7's a good number. You know what I mean? But it didn't have that like memorable thing. I wasn't leaving the theater with that on my mind like some of the other sketches.
Yeah,
Jay,
exactly. I got to give props quick to Ryan Dunn's wheelbarrow attempt, which somehow I didn't get at after talking about the fucking wheelbarrow over and over for God knows how long. Did you guys notice when he goes off? It's like the perfect, I think it's the last time they do it, where he basically hits the ramp and then he detaches from the wheelbarrow and just kind of continues his momentum as if he's on like a magic carpet into the pool, and the wheelbarrow just kind of like veers off without him, and it just, there's something beautiful about that shot.
It looks like he's driving Wonder Woman's invisible spaceship, like just sitting fully prone, just like a seatbelt across him, like he's
So all in all, though, like I said, this is Jackass after all. I expect, especially in the movies, I expect to be wowed most of the time, or just if I'm not going to be wowed by what is presented in front of me, I want it to surprise me, like the high five did. You know, it's not much when you think about it, but there's magic there. Sure. This was fun, but it's just some boys hanging out in the backyard. So I'm going classic J with a 6.9 out of 10, because I don't know, it's fun, but there's better shit, and I know there's better shit in this movie.
Yeah.
That's as high as I can go.
I don't mark on a bell curve though. Like if something earns its due, I'm going to give it to it.
Okay, that's fair. I do not. You don't want me as a teacher,
Chris. I got a question for you.
Yeah,
I want you as a teacher, Jay. If you're graded on a bell curve, I'm at the top of that curve. Fuck everyone else. Yeah, but
if I see your name on an essay, it's just going in the garbage. I'm
putting Chris's name on the essay and then just like peeling off a sticker that has mine on it. Chris, I got a question for you, Mr. Man of the People. Mr. accuses me of paying people to do the hard labor that I should be doing myself. How many times have you entered your own score into our maintained spreadsheet of scores for this?
How much are you paying?
And how much are you paying?
Is the other question.
Guys, I'm old school.
Old school.
I want to bring the people back to a time pre-technology, pre-spreadsheet, because if it wasn't for me doing these types of things,
how do you?
What about all the hard workers in the paper mills that are going out of business these days? You know what I mean? Those guys are sitting there because all this computer and Excel spreadsheets. The pulp mills are going down. There's hard workers out there. Next, you're going to take away the coal mines from the coal miners. It's fucking bullshit, man. So the more I support, every time I would write down my score, I'm taking away a job from someone in a paper mill.
And what do you say to all the hard workers in the radio business when we put out content for free over the podcasting networks?
God, what do you mean in the radio business?
Radio.
I already told you the story about the guy that I worked with.
They can put out their content
they can
for
all
free.
Fuck off.
They can put out their content for free.
Right, but you're taking away their jobs.
I'm not taking away their jobs.
Yeah.
They still have their jobs.
Mikey, those guys.
You said you say the people on the radio. So they're on the radio?
Okay.
People who were radio.
Are they on the radio?
Not as much anymore. Not as much as they were 10 years ago.
You just said, what about the people on the radio? So that means they're on the radio, therefore they have a fucking job.
Well, you said, what about the people? What about the people in the? No, what about the people in the paper mills, Chris?
Touch blue, make it true.
You said the people in the paper mills. Are they not still in the paper mills?
I don't even know what you're trying to talk about. You don't make any sense when you talk. You're not a man of the people. It doesn't fucking work.
Did you guys know that they put pulp in ice cream, like from paper mills?
Do they?
Yeah.
That's
to like keep the consistency. There's paper and all sorts of shit.
So does that mean I don't have to wipe pulp if I only eat ice cream and shit?
Okay. Yeah. At first
and then
I thought like wiping your
chocolate ice cream, then
nobody knows.
No one knows the difference, right?
Yeah. Except by the smell, but yeah. All right, Chris, you want to do a little Rocky music for this next one?
Absolutely.
Take it away.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, wet Apollo Creed. Running on the beach. We can just keep doing this. Like, the thing I love about this episode in particular is that it's taken us a long time to get anywhere. And you know what? That's the way it's going to be, baby. I hope you're on board because, Guys, this next one is so fucking good. I mean, the Rocky, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's a slow-mo punch from behind when you're least expecting it. And of course, it's Bam Margera delivering the blow.
Well, it's also, there's one other component to it, which makes it so good, is the water to the face on one side and then punching on the other side. And like...
Yep, get you to look one way, hit you the other.
Yes,
you know?
And Bam, the thing about Bam in this one is he's throwing haymakers. Like this he's not holding anything back. And it's like it's a wonder people don't get knocked out even more in Jackass. Like it's amazing that some of them are still alive. It's fucking wild.
Well, to me, I was watching this and I don't even think it's necessarily Rocky that's the inspiration by this, like the movies. I think it was those Brisk commercials from back in the day when they had those like cartoon versions with like the saggy faces and like the sweat on their face. Do you remember those? That's more what I think visually they're trying to achieve than like what happens in the actual Rocky movie.
God, you just made me think of Celebrity Deathmatch. You guys remember that show?
Oh yeah, of course.
Show. Whew. Yeah, that's a blast from the past. That's something that I think the kids today will not understand why that would have been popular. Like people looked forward to that shit. I don't remember that show, honestly. Like I think it is rose-tinted glasses. It wasn't that good. There was a video game that came out.
It wasn't ever that good. It was just cool, like the same reason some people like portions of Fortnite now, or like Ready Player One, where it's just this mixing of different pop culture references that everyone seems to love.
Also, Chris mentioning the Brisk commercials, just falling. I want to fall backwards into a pool. I always wanted to try that. Take a sip and just hope there'll be a pool there waiting to catch me. You know, it's got to be right.
Hope.
It's got to be real.
Hope.
Yeah. So after a punch like that, though, you better hope there's something to fucking land on, because I'd go down hard. I'm pretty sure I'd be like a sack of potatoes after a fucking hit like that.
Brandon Novak, who is the guy who gets punched, takes it pretty well. Like he's. I think he's high enough that he can.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Is this drug Novak?
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's drug Novak because it's drug Bam as well. You could tell just by the look of him that he's kind of not all there in some of these scenes. He shows up a couple times in Jackass 3D.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said like, man, these guys, it's so surprising they don't get, knocked out more often and things like that. I was thinking initially, like, yeah, what a roll of the dice that we got this crew of guys. We're all just super resilient, can take a punch and keep standing. Oh, no, it's probably the drugs. Yeah, I forgot about all the drugs.
Yeah, that's true.
That's got to play a part. It's got to play a part. This next one, guys, I think I'd probably want to be on some sort of painkiller before jumping into. This is probably, I'm going to say it right now, my favorite thing in the whole movie.
It's fantastic.
And this came on screen.
It's going to be our last stunt of this episode as well, so we'll make it count.
Yes, exactly. And man, this is none other than the Bee Hive Tetherball, which is, again, exactly as it sounds like. And when I saw the setup for this in the theater, you get a shot of the bees up close and you get a beekeeper there. He's kind of describing like, okay, these are Africanized bees. Manny's there, which I love seeing Manny again. Call back to Wild Boys. Manny's here.
It's the only time you see him not in his usual like thong and shirtless. He's like covered, like he knows what he's getting himself into.
Here.
Yeah.
So he says it takes about 100 stings from these bees to kill a person. At least that's what he's read in the literature, the bee literature. 50,000 per hive is what's estimated. So I'd say the chances are pretty good. And just like this setup here, in the theater when I saw this for the first time, not knowing it was going to be a tetherball thing.
Yes.
I was just wondering like, okay, where's this going? Where's this going? Like we've seen bee related things before in Jackass, but now that they're, really playing it up, this has got to be big, right? It's for the movie. This has got to be big. And you just see a pole like you do on the playground, string attached to the beehive, and it takes a second to click. You're like, wait a second, weren't we just talking about bees? And then you see that it's a beehive and you're like, holy fucking shit. Really? Like even watching this again, I had that sense of like, they're not actually going to do this, right?
It's crazy though, because to me, you would think that a stunt that is about playing tetherball with a beehive, you would think that far and away, the best part of the stunt would be them playing tetherball with a beehive. But it kind of isn't. The best part comes before and after they're actually playing tetherball, which again just speaks to like how much we love the personalities of the people on Jackass. Like maybe one of my favorite lines in Jackass history is, how many bee stings does it take to kill someone? And Manny says it takes about 100, and they find out there's 50,000 in the hive, and Dave just goes like, well, then what are we even doing here? And someone from off camera says, just go for 99 and then take off. These are like perfect organic Jackass lines, and more delicious than organic bee honey. I love this stunt so much.
Yeah, I love organic bee honey. But you know what? I do have a bit of a... because I have Peter's bee honey. I eat it with my tea every day.
Uh-huh.
But
Peter, I'm just going to throw this that every listener knows.
Yeah, it's Peter's Bad River honey. Check it out.
Yeah, actually, check it out.
I will. I'll do that.
And it's very important to eat bee honey from bees that are in your local area, because it helps with all the pollens and all the nutrients and things in their area. It's actually very good for you, because they are the people that are spreading the flowers.
Sorry?
So back to my point. Scientists are a little fucked up, man. Think about this for a second. I'm just going to list the traits of the two different types of bees and tell me if you find something wrong with this.
Okay.
Yes.
Africanized bees. Mm-hmm. Aggressive. They form like gang mentalities. When one's attacked, they all jump in and they get very aggressive on people. European bees. Docile. They keep the world going. They provide honey. They pollinate the earth. I think someone needs a little bit of a PR rep over there, because that's just not cool, in my opinion.
I hear you. We know that bees in Africa are more aggressive. They are killer bees. So Africanized is using the term to apply a certain type of
they're more dangerous
characteristic.
What about bees in the inner city? Are they more dangerous too?
Inner city
I don't know. All I know about those European bees you're talking about is just, don't get too close to me. Yeah, I might get you with my stinger if you get too close to my honey. Not on this honeycomb. No, I don't think so. They're pretty easy going though. If you get to know them,
yeah, they're pretty chill. The other ones are like, yo, motherfucker, back the fuck off.
Yeah.
So the actual real reason, I know we want to joke, but the actual real reason is because killer bees are Africanized bees. Those are the same thing, right? Killer bees became a thing when bees from Wu-Tang, yeah. When African bees were crossbred with European bees. So they were Africanized. Now, the issue with that is why didn't they say Europeanized or something like that? They went with the version that was other than the scientists, who were probably the ones naming them. So our culture is just riddled with these issues. We talked on Wild Boys a couple of weeks ago about something that was called the Jewfish, and they played Hubba Nagila while they were exploring that underwater.
That was so good, though. I fucking love the Jewfish. I always wanted to catch one of those, a Goliath grouper.
Yeah.
I kind of wish now that they fucking put the European bees in there, because then when they're batting it around and they're coming out, they'd be all like, oh yeah, oh look, it's Dave England here. Oh, I love you so much, Dave England. Hey, you're my biggest fan.
I'm from Sweden.
Yeah. Hey, Gregory, come over here and sting Dave England on the bum. Oh, he's exposed. Look at him run with his tail between his legs like a little boy.
Us German bees love so Dave cute. England because he loves to do the poo-poos.
Oh, the poo-poos, yeah. We're big fans of the poo-poos.
Scheiße. Dave England, the Scheiße King. Sorry, the Scheiße Kaiser. Scheiße Kaiser.
Scheiße Kaiser.
That should be Jay's new nickname.
I don't know. Thank you. I'll take it. Hey, man, if I can be royalty, I'm all about it. I'll be the poo royalty. That's fine. But yeah, when you're batting a beehive around, like Mikey's right. They don't get a whole lot of batting it around, but it's kind of like that thing of, okay, because they're standing around the pole and everyone's getting stung and freaking out. They're getting into Dave England's hat. He's wearing like one of those fucking fur hats you'd wear out if you were like a hunter or a woodsman, I guess. Uh-huh. And they're like getting in there. They're getting in the ear flaps, right? So
isn't he wearing? Isn't it like a bear hat? Like it makes him look like a bear.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. I might be remembering it wrong, but it's got the flaps, right? So that's where the bees are getting in. And he's like just batting at his ears and he's jumping from leg to leg. And like they haven't even done the first hit of the beehive yet. So they know like, dude, you're in the sketch. We need the footage. One of you has to take this thing and hit it. And nobody wants to do it. I've only got 98
stings left before I have to die.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a timer on this game. So you need to get in there and fucking bat this thing. And they get a couple hits and they get it swinging around pretty good, but it's not long until everybody just takes off because it's clearly like it's just too much. Like you can't summon the willpower to stand there and do that for longer than a couple seconds, right?
No.
But yeah,
it's just pure mayhem. It gets into this chaos. What's up, Chris?
Do the Africanized bees have bigger stingers?
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. You know, I heard Biden won the election because of the all the killer bees that voted for him. He had the killer bee vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Swiftly moving off topic. Some of my favorite scenes in Jackass, though, are like any of the stunts that have to do with bees. The post bee filming of people just running around and screaming halfway across a field. It's all chaos. It's like the intro scene from Jackass Forever, where like there's the monster and everyone's running around and there's explosions everywhere. That's the same kind of chaotic energy you have at the end of a bee scene. Everyone's getting stung, whether you're on the camera or you were involved in the sketch. This one, though, is great because Steve-O tries to bring his like Wild Boys energy to the set and be like, Dave doesn't realize he's such an idiot. You just got to calm yourself down. Like the bees will leave you alone if you're calm.
Yeah.
Smash cut to him playing tetherball, yelling and screaming while pointing at his leg, like screaming. It's like you think you were calm, but you were so erratic when you were actually getting stung. It's hard to contain yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave is poor Dave. Please put me somewhere where there is no bees.
Please put me somewhere where there's no bees.
And he's asking sincerely, like he's looking for someone who will take him by the hand and lead him somewhere safe. Like he doesn't know where to turn, but simultaneously, anyone that tries to get close to him, you notice he just keeps backing up. Like
it's PTS Dave for sure. He's
already
coming
there.
Out. Yeah,
it's coming out, and I loved seeing it, as painful as it was to watch at the same time. This human being just falling apart mentally and emotionally, but. God, Dave's just so good in these post-segment things where afterwards we're just, it's him just standing there, oh, dude, fucking hurts. And like, you get those Dave England lines that are just, he's like almost out of breath and he's raised his vocal register a couple octaves. And
he sounds almost like Morty from Rick and Morty. Yeah. Remember the last time he dealt with bees was in the Beehive limo, or one of the last times that we saw it. And he came up to the camera afterwards and he's like, look, I pissed my pants, guys. Look, I pissed my, like he was proud of having done it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to say, or you want to get into our reviews on this one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Chris, why don't you lead us off?
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. We're good.
9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It had everything I liked. You have the epitome of my favorite type of Dave England. When he has that kind of the most genuine whining. It's like not like whining for like trying to be like a dork. Like you feel for him because you see that look in his eyes. He's just like, I'm here, guys, and I don't want to be, and I'm sucking it up, but like I've had enough, man. Like,
yeah,
please get me away from there. Bees are always hilarious. Like they're so unpredictable. How something so small causes more havoc than fucking bulls do.
100%
is absolutely fucking majestic to me. And I loved tetherball as a kid. So it's just like the fact that they even stuck it out and they did finally get it to wrap all the way around. I'm like, this is a good sketch
that's
for me,
that's
man.
Kudos to Steve-O for sticking around for that.
Yeah.
Jay, what about you?
Yeah, I got to go on this one as well. As I said out of the outset, it's pretty memorable for me. And when I saw it, I just lit up. I think there's something special to seeing the first reveal in the theater, like I said, and you just get such an excitement over it's the anticipation more than anything that I think is the best part, like we said, because it's the jumping around before the first hit even happens. It's just seeing a beehive on a fucking tetherball, setup. That's like, holy shit, this is such a good idea. And it's like, why did nobody think of this? Or why would anybody want to do this? I guess is a better question.
There's a very good question why no one thought about this.
For that, like, it's not even so much that it was a successful stunt. It's one of those things that I said earlier in the episode where it's like, it starts out and the setup looks good, but then somehow it even surprises you beyond the setup. Like that happened for me here the first time I saw it because it's that setup. There's going to be a bee stunt. Okay. Beehive on a tetherball. Holy shit. And then before you know it, they haven't even taken a hit and they're freaking out. Okay. That's another high that I didn't expect. And then Steve-O manages to fucking wrap it around the pole. And then you get the aftermath. It's like hit after hit of just good fucking shit. And I'm laughing the whole time. So for me, this is a rare 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
I'm with Chris on this one. It deserves it.
This one kind of like, you know how Jay, you and I really liked the boogie one with with Dave England and taking the ramps and stuff, and Chris wasn't as big as a fan. This one, I loved it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as high. Like, I didn't have such an iconic memory of this one back from the first time I saw it. And it wasn't until I saw the video between Steve-O and Dave England where they recounted some of their gnarliest stunts where I even recalled this one. Like, it just didn't stick in my memory like some of the stunts do. And going back and watching it, I liked it. There were some funny jokes. I love a good stunt with Dave England's personality, but I keep comparing it to the Beehive limo, which was so much more. And there was so many more people involved. It was more of an elaborate prank. They had the marbles at the end. It just felt like the plan came off without a hitch. And I know that this one's funny in spite of the fact that it didn't, but it still gets knocked down a couple pegs in my mind as a result. I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 on this one.
It's still pretty solid. I get that for sure. Sometimes they just don't land in the same way.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, like, I get why you feel that way, Mikey. And I think for me, it just was like the surprise, like I said, but I could see why, like, when you compare it against the Beehive limo, which I didn't think about going into this, that is just the setup with the fucking marbles and shit. It's such a cherry on top moment. Even though you don't get that here, I just like how it fell apart, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Fell apart.
Sometimes that, when that lands right, when a stunt falling apart lands right, that can really make it sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of falling apart, we're going to cut this off right here for now. It has been a long intro to Jackass 3, but fuck, boys, I'm excited to keep talking about this next week, and we're going to have, from the looks of it, many more parts, so strap in for a long ride.
Are you forgetting something, Jay?
No, I'm not forgetting anything. I was getting right to it.
Okay.
Trust me, I didn't forget. If you want to find us on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm just
wait a second.
I know it's the LVPs and the MVPs. I know. Let's do that.
LVPs and MVPs.
Let's do it.
I'll start us off. I'm going to go with my MVP of this one. Sometimes I like to, in the context of hockey, I like to say that a third liner had the best game, even though they had no goals. Sometimes it's just the person putting in work, making sure that things go off without a hitch, even though you might not even notice that they're there. And for me, if we're sectioning it off stunt by stunt, my favorite portion of this movie, or my favorite stunt from this portion of the movie, was the high five. And Wee Man was such an integral reason why the stunt took off. And I'm going to give him the MVP because he didn't overdo it. He just played his role. He knew what he had to do, and he did a great job at it. And as a result, we got one of our favorite stunts of all time.
Chris, what do you got?
Kind of along the same vein with Mikey, but a different person. Even though he wasn't in as much stunts, and I don't even think he had a stunt for himself, the background of Pontius throughout this, from the intro, him just being that classic Pontius, just the little narrations, the outfits, all those little things were such a cherry on top for every little bit that he happened to be in. Because in this, there's a few standalone moments, but the people that had those big standalone moments didn't really do much else as well. So I kind of have to go with someone that was a little bit more steadily throughout there, even if they weren't forefront.
I hear you. Yeah, it's good. Pontius, I'm always down with Pontius getting chosen.
Yeah, never go wrong with that. For me, for MVP on this one, boys, I think I gotta go with fucking holy shit, man, Dave England for the Zangief Street Fighter 2 dropkick that he pulled at the start of this. It's perfect form. And I don't know how he did that, if there was some trickery going on or what, but it is so beautiful. That, to me, that is still the visual of the show, and to cap it all off, Ryan Dunn taking the hit and being just deformed in 3D slow motion is chef's kiss and favorite part of this portion so far for me.
I love the fact that, like, if you have Ryan Dunn and Dave England standing next to each other and you're like, guys, got to give my MVP to someone from the dropkick stunt. I think you all know who I'm talking about. No, it's not the person who took the dropkick to the face. It's the person who did the dropkick. Dude, Ryan Dunn would be like, what the fuck, man?
If it was a sloppy kick, if you could, you had one leg hanging down, he wasn't quite at that horizontal angle you need to get a good kick in, then he wouldn't have got it. Would have been done all the way. But that perfect form is just, it's beautiful.
I hear you. LVP in this one, this is tough because everyone who shows up kind of like does their job. man, part of me wants to do a whole, like, there is no LVP, but that feels like a cop-out. I think the LVP that I'm going to give in this one is going to be, man, I was going to say Danger Aaron for missing the spank, but he's so good in this soup bit that, like, how could, you know who the LVP is? It's the first aid kit in the first stunt, because it had no job being there. And why do we even have a first aid kit on the set of Jackass?
Yeah. Well, based on your speech and like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I don't really think there is an LVP on this one, and you might as well call me Robo, because I'm about to cop out and say I'm not giving an LVP.
Okay. I like it. I like that, actually. Not going to lie. You and I are very contentious. I'm a fan of that joke structure. It's your magnum opus, Chris.
It's my mom.
Don't worry. I'll put down my weapon and surrender myself to you any day. Robo.
What is your prime directive? To review every Jackass stunt?
Yeah, LVP, boys, for this one. I think I got to give it to European bees, because, I mean, those uncircumcised stingers, less clean, more chance of infection, decreased sexual stimulation. I don't know. I think they're just missing out. And hey, I respect your culture. That's fine. But I think you'd be more affected if you had the snip. Jerry Seinfeld was a bee, and I'm sure
he was.
Given the background, we all know what kind of stinger he had. That's all I'm saying. He got a starring role. So just think about it. That's all I'm saying.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Guys, I can't wait to continue on with Jackass.
I know,
3.
I'm excited.
It's just such a treat to get back into the Jackass game.
And I'm just rating stunts so much. Like, that was like our MO.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah. No, it's a whole different ball game when we get to do this, and I love it. And I hope you're loving it too, listener, because listen, we'll be back next week with more ratings, more reviews, more madness, more Jackass 3. But in the meantime, if you want to tell us what you thought of this part 1, you can find us at JackassPod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. Come on there and share your memories of going to the theater for Jackass 3. What was that like for you if you had, the opportunity to experience that? We'd love to hear your stories. And I don't know, maybe we'll share a few if there's some good ones. Who knows?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That does it for us for now. And next week we will return with part 2 of Jackass 3. Until then, bye. I'm Jason Wildwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth. And this has been Jackass.
Why did my voice go so deep there?
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.